Hey everybody, I'm East Coast Pete. This is my show. Today we're going to fish way back into the past, back in the 60s. We're going to talk about Moby Grape. It's in order to find out about Skip Spence. So I'm going to break one of my rules. I'll review a band that were not my favorite within the genre, which in this case is 60s California psychedelic. I've been a staunch Deadhead. John Cipollina of Quicksilver was my hero. Randy California's Spirit was my favorite American band, and I found out just how special it was to trip with the airplane as the background. My big brother and Janice, so I got a dose of that when I went to visit him. The Charlatans were closer to a second string band, and that's what I thought about Moby Grape. But then I listened to Ore, which is Skip Spence's solo album, and I think I get it. I wanted more, so here goes. Moby Grape became ripe in the 60s. All 5 members were singer-songwriters. These were Skip Spence on guitar and vocals, Jerry Miller, Bob Mosley, Peter Lewis, and Don Stevenson. And by the way, Skip Spence was also the Jefferson Airplane's first drummer. Moby Grape would have been bigger, but they were cut down by decades of legal disputes with Matthew Katz, their manager. Katz wanted ownership of the group name, and Katz had been paying for apartments for the band members and the entourage. Moby Grape objected to signing over the name, but they did, since Katz was going to literally pull the rug out from under them. One of the factors in the legal battle was that Skip Spence and Bob Mosley were legally incapacitated due to, for real, schizophrenia. And that was just a part of a much more disturbing and sad story. It was 1966. The Beatles were revolving around the idea to stop touring. The Stones were stoned, especially Brian Jones, who would be dead in 3 years. The Monterey Pop Fest was front and center, and Bob Dylan had shocked the folk world by playing a Stratocaster at Newport. In Frisco, the Dead held be-ins in the company of Owsley Stanley, a light show specialist who also was a chemist, and you know what of. Neil Cassidy was the bus driver, and the family dog was giving all the hippies peanut butter sandwiches and granola. Woodstock Nation wasn't even a multicolored glint in Wavy Gravy's spying eye, and everyone got fat except Mama Cass, because she already was. Ken Kesey held acid test parties, and everything was all so beautiful until it wasn't. And the wasn't part came way too soon. Manager Katz had also been connected to Jefferson Airplane, but they fired him. And they also decided to get a real drummer, so Skip Spence also left. Katz and Spence decided to form a new band, and like Jefferson Airplane, Spence saw it as a new scene, and Katz saw it as a gold mine. What's big and purple and lives in the ocean? This is a joke. And you can guess the punchline. Lead guitarist Jerry Miller, drummer Don Stevenson joined guitarist Peter Lewis, who was son of movie actress Loretta Young, bassist Bob Mosley of the Misfits, and Spence, now on guitar. All three guitarists played lead, not at the same time, or maybe sometimes at the same time, calling it guitar crosstalk. Buffalo Springfield was the other three-guitar band in California back then. Moby Grape was like a kaleidoscope of guitar experimentation, best heard on their first album, Moby Grape. Mostly, Lewis and Spence wrote alone. Miller and Stevenson generally collaborated. Spence's song Omaha was considered one of the 100 best guitar songs of all time. Okay, I'll like them. I will like Moby Grape. Sam I am. I hope they won't let me down. Columbia released 5 singles at once, which is overhyping a new band. Counterculture music was hot, and Columbia craved hits. Omaha went to number 88 in 1967, but the other songs did not chart. Cats demanded $1 million to release Moby Grape's appearance at Monterey Pop, effectively keeping them off the album and the movie. This was the beginning of the end for Cats as Grape manager. The Monterey footage of Moby was very poor quality anyway. Second album, Wow/Grape Jam, 1968, was a commercial and critical disappointment. It was a double album, way too soon for a band to do that. There were way many good moments on the collection, but as a whole, it was inconsistent. Skip Spence started to go overboard with the LSD. New York wasn't sunny Frisco, and being in Lou Reed's and Patti Smith's environs freaked him the fuck out. He shaved, donned a black leather jacket and some chains. This is when Skip took a fire axe to Miller's hotel door. He also held an axe to the doorman's head. He went to the Tombs. He was taken there. He didn't just walk over there. He was committed to Bellevue. For 6 months under care. Moby Grape was in New York to record an album, and David Robinson, the producer, lived there anyway. Let me see if I can get another show here. Okay. This show is going to be the Monterey footage. You'll see what I'm talking about. So anyway, Moby Grape was in New York to record an album, and David Robinson, the producer, lived there and wanted to be with his family while he worked. The band was put up at the Albert Hotel. Skip had disappeared after a gig at the Fillmore East. The rumor was that he had gone with a woman people said was a witch, and she pumped him full of acid. It was like the Val Kilmer Doors movie, just worse on many levels. Skip was now the Antichrist, you see. This is why we don't all need to drop acid. There's always the possibility of becoming the Antichrist, that sort of thing. Skip had to kill Don Stevenson to save him from himself. So, the axe. He then found his way to the 52nd floor of the CBS building where he was Robinson pressed charges. While finding some relative sanity in Bellevue, Spence wrote his solo album, Or. After 6 months, he made his way to Nashville, where he cut the surprisingly poignant album. But this was the end of his career. They gave him Thorazine, just took him out of the game. The remaining bunch continued to record and tour. They wrote a tribute to Spence called Skip's Song, which was a highlight. Spence was given the songwriting credit. After a European tour, Bob Mosley shocked his bandmates once more by enlisting in the Marines. The Three Grapes left released Truly Fine Citizen, their last effort with Columbia. The three last grapes dropped off the vine, but the seeds were planted for some separate projects. Would there be a vintage grape? Skip Spence actually returned for a reunion in the 70s. An album, 20 Granite Creek, was released on Reprise. The fire was gone, Skip left, and the band re-dissolved. Until 1996, when they tried it again, there would be several attempts to reform featuring different combinations of members and grape wannabes. In the 80s, the Grapes, now Raisins probably, released Moby Grape 84 and toured with It's a Beautiful Day, Fraternity of Man, and Strawberry Alarm Clock. Kind of a 60s nostalgia circuit, but an interesting show if you heard about it or saw it. Due to the legal battle, members of Moby Grape have attempted to put out music under different names. These were Mosley Grape, Legendary Grape, Maybe Grape, Fine Wine, and the Melvilles. In 1989, they released a Legendary Grape album, some believed to be a Melvins release. Moby Grape was not released anything under their own name since Legendary Grape in '89, which was remastered and supplemented in 2003. Skip Spence spent his last years in a residential care facility, and his mental condition was managed. He died of lung cancer in 1999 at the age of 53. Cats lost his suit. Moby Grape were juiced. And then Cats started a new round of lawsuits, which was done out of spite. Today, Jerry Miller, Bob Mosley, and Peter Lewis, accompanied by Skip Spence's son Omar on vocals and Jerry Miller's son Joseph on drums, appear as Moby Grape. And was there ever a Moby Grape Deep Purple tour? I don't know, but it would seem logical. A bio about all of this was published. It's titled, What's Big and Purple and Lives in the Ocean? The Moby Grape Story. Sounds like a good read. There are 5 separate fan-initiated tribute albums, covers of Moby Grape songs beginning with Mo Grape in 2000, Even Mo Grape in 2002, followed by Still Mo Grape, Forever Mo, and Just Say Mo. Here's a discography. 67, Moby Grape went to 28 in the U.S. Hey Grandma, Mr. Hose, do you think you could try? Listen, my friend, it ain't no use. Play it on through. Change up. What's the difference a day makes? 805. 68, Wow / Grape Jam went to 20 in the U.S. Wow. Murder in My Heart, For the Judge, Bitter Wind, can't be so bad. The place and the time, just like Gene Autry, a foxtrot. 69, Moby Grape in 69, good enough to eat Skip's song, Doing What I Want. Ain't it a shame? It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day today. 69, truly fine citizen. It's about contrasts, not hard rock, not sunshine rock. A Diamond Dupree kind of vibe with a dash of Cipollina. Kaboo, Sweet on You. 71, 20, Granite Creek, Skips Back. Gypsy Wedding, about time. And 78, Live Grape, red, white, or rosé. Let's check the nose. In 84, Moby Grape. In 84, also known as Super Wheels or The Heart. In 89, Legendary Grape, or also known as Fuck You Cats. In 2010, Moby Grape Live, a new bunch of old moldies. Complications in 91, Omaha. This is Spence's stuff. 73, Great Grape. And 86, Murder in My Heart. 93, Vintage, the very best of Moby Grape. 04, Crosstalk. In 07, Listen My Friends. And 09, The Place and the Time. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You need to listen to Or, O-A-R, by Skip Spence. It is really an amazing album. Anyone who has even a smattering of psychology or an interest in psychology, it's all in that grouping of songs. I'm wondering if Spence meant that he was rowing a boat with the oar, or was the oar rowing him? I don't know. You check it out and tell me. Get back to me. In the meantime, take excellent care and come back and see me at How Rock is Saved. Bye, everyone.